You're a teacher. So you're a rabbi. Because you're right. You're a good and wise teacher.
Órale, vato, it's Cinco de Mayo here at the Gym Crashers SA. This is Yoey the Bull.
Yoey.
That's right, with our special guest, Jay Salazar.
Boom.
Oh, hold on. Dondo.
Watching the show. Yes.
And
Dondo.
Francesca.
Francesca Dominique from Fight Life Connoisseurs in the house.
Are we all drunk right now? I mean, I'm the only guy drinking shots.
What'd you
I
drink?
can't go to a bar. I drink tequila all day, drink a bunch of beer, eat a bunch of tacos, including my wife's, but it's all good, eh?
Whoa. Joey, you're too much today. How's our sound, Robert? Looking good? Yeah. All right. Well, it's Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th. We actually have fights coming up for the first time in 2 weeks. 2 months. 2 weeks. 2 months. It's 2 months, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something
But it's
like
coming
that.
up for a long time. I said weeks, but it is months because it's
Since
mind-blowing.
The 14th, right?
Is that what it
The
is?
14th? 14th, 15th? That's when everything shut down, and then they still had the Ferguson card.
I'm thinking 5 weeks at least.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Maybe 8. Right?
I'm a little behind on it.
You don't watch fights?
I do. I get invited over.
Well, I guess more importantly, Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson are fighting this weekend. If you're not up on it, it's going to be a war. What do you think, Francesca?
I think it'll be really exciting. I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit not more excited for this matchup than Khabib and Ferguson. That's a little bit more like serious, you know. But this is like, oh, okay, this is really interesting. So excited.
Here's a question for you. Do you think that Tony Ferguson is maybe kind of putting it out there for no reason, not waiting for Khabib? What if Gaethje does turn this around? I mean, he's a badass. He's a brawler.
Yeah, but
And
I mean, what choice do you have right now? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a rough thing. I don't know. It's kind of a bad fight, short notice for that type of fighter. But you know, it'll be exciting.
What do you think,
It'll
Joe?
definitely be exciting.
You watching fights?
Right now, I'm taking a shot,
All right.
but I haven't watched any fights yet,
All right,
bro.
because you're sweating. I knew you were thinking about something really serious.
You know, shots and tacos. I'm very sad that nothing's open right now.
Well, it's Taco
Everything
Tuesday.
is open, dude. Everything is open.
Not my local drinking holes, bro. Like I can't hang out with the senoritas and say, ay, 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 Cinco de Mayo.
What's your local drinking hole? Tell us.
My house right now.
And it's open. I knew it.
My mom's backyard, buddy. My mom's backyard. They're freaking quarantine over there too. You know, got La Amiga around. No, I don't want to get arrested, eh?
Francesca, if you were to go out drinking, where do you prefer to go?
I don't know.
No preference?
Well, if I'm going somewhere, I'm usually going to fights. So that's like
So wherever the fights
Thursday,
are at.
Friday, Saturday.
Because rancher people, I have to ask this. You're on ranches quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the Mexican people, they drink that stuff that looks like cactus juice called pulque. You ever seen that? It's thick. You got to guzzle it down, but it knocks your socks off.
Wow.
You never drank that stuff, Joe?
No, I'm a coconut Mexican. You know, I'm
making sure.
brown on the outside, white on the inside. So I'm fine with my tecate. You know.
What about you, Francesca? Never came into contact with the concoction that they create there on the ranch?
No, I mean, I don't know. People have their things, you know, like
Right?
trainers will like put vodka and soda into like a thing and just sip it all day. Like that's normal. Like I don't know, like you I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of alcoholics in the horse business.
Jay, where do you drink? Where do you go if you were to go?
I go to the Firkin in Long Beach.
Fearkin.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's off of
What
Broadway.
does that
Broadway
mean,
Green Dot.
Fearkin?
Firkin is a small kind of like a baby cake.
Okay.
So it's a nice place. They got a lot of good taps.
Because there's a Dutch word, farkin. I've been called that a lot in my life. It's the same as pendejo in Mexican. You know what I mean? I thought it was something like that. I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard this
Wait.
word before.
You're
I thought maybe
fucking
you
stupid.
heard that word in the Netherlands. No.
I don't know. It sounded familiar. I was
Yeah?
like, oh,
Firkin, F-I-R-K.
Firkin.
It's a good place.
Firkin.
it sounds like a bird.
Yeah, no.
And what are you swigging there?
I like the LBC. They got that on draft. It's good.
Oh, beer.
Yeah, it's a local brew too.
Yeah.
Wow, LBC.
I like
This guy's from
local.
LBC.
That's what I'm talking about. LBC, gangster right there. Chilling with Snoop Dogg and shit, you know.
That's Joey's old life. He was a bodyguard for Dennis Rodman.
Oh, hey, let's keep that for a different day, bro.
Yeah, he was. he put a big old shadow around that Dennis Rodman body.
I wish people can view this show. I have people text me saying, "Is that Zach Galifianakis?"
This guy?
Zach Galifianakis from
This is
Hangover.
Zach Galifianakis in the
I
house.
think that's a compliment. This guy's funny.
Sorry, I do apologize. What a dick. I'm sorry.
So we bring Jay on because Jay is now a brown belt in Krav Maga.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's a lot of years to put in. What is it? Is it similar to BJJ where it's 10 to 12 years for, that high level belt progression?
Yeah. Like anything else, you want to be good at it, do it 10,000 times.
Yeah.
So you think about putting in the time. It's always the individual. Everyone has an aptitude. Some people, I tend to be a little bit more, take it in, work on it, drill it. I would say so. It's close. And you get to a certain level, then it's like you either have to start teaching it, or you just really start to define a certain skill set or a certain combination. Like, for me, I just want to be really good on a 1-2.
Now, quick question. Now, a lot of people that don't know about Krav Maga, where does that fighting skill come from?
Well, it's an Israeli fighting system. You want a little bit of history on that?
Yeah. We want the background.
Just a little bit, just a little history.
No, dig.
Well, because people hear about it, but they want to know what it's all about.
Yeah.
Here's a real quick one. Emil Lichtenfeld in the 40s in Czechoslovakia. He was a wrestler and a boxer, and he saw Nazis picking on Jewish people. And they were more of kind of a groups, doing this, hitting with sticks and stuff like that. And he came up with a system that was quickly developed and effective. That was his goal. You got to get these people trained quickly. So if you kind of, I like to use the analogy like you think of your own reflexes. Like if I do something to John, I'm screwing around, right? Now your first reaction is your hands get up, or if you're good, you do this.
It's gonna poke me in the eyes. I know it. I do this.
Three Stooges.
Krav, the only defense is this, and then we're good. So you think of your, how you react if someone hits you, and so they really play off of that, and at the same time, really learning how to get in touch with the switch, learning how to go from being engaged with something. And all of a sudden, I got a really bad situation, and it's not good. So when that switch comes on, it's a commitment of you imposing your will on someone who's trying to hurt you, and you want to end it quickly. So
exactly, because I heard like a lot of this people that train, the soldiers that train it, they train to break bones, and that's the whole thing of Krav Maga. Unless that's a rumor, but I heard Krav Maga is all about breaking or snapping joints and that type of style of fighting.
It's funny. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I would say, if
you just ruined Joey's day. Okay. Tell us what you think about it. Joey, don't fall out of the chair.
Let me say this. I haven't been exposed to that.
Okay.
To that so much. But I will say, which is I think even better, and a lot easier to do maybe, is you hit the vulnerable spots. So Krav Maga is kind of taking the history. When you first sign up, you just want to learn to defend yourself. And they start you in the worst position, You're in my, within 3 feet of my circle here. So, I
arms
can't
distance.
punch. Yeah. And they put you in a headlock. They put you on the ground in a headlock. My instructor, Alan, he would say, you're in a shit position, now you learn to shit higher. You're always going to make the best of the bad situation you're in. But a lot of that has to do with making the mental commitment to, I'm ending this, and I'm not going to stop until I do it. And I think the difference between like MMA and Krav is, in Krav, that starts off as a self-defense.
Sure.
Which is pretty interesting because the self-defense is really offensive, the way you train. Like, if you're going to block someone, you're just not holding your hand up, or trying to redirect it. You're letting them know that you're there. And then there's always a simultaneous strike. If you're blocking, you're striking at the same time. Someone comes in with a knife, you're blocking that knife, striking. And it's super important to understand that, because that's a lot of times what you train. And it comes from just that normal fear, like how someone comes, you go, whoa.
Yeah.
So you learn to take that and use it to your advantage. So you do a lot of training. Best thing about Krav Maga is they like to get you really tired, really exhausted, sore.
Then test your skills, huh?
Oh, well, and then when you're starting to hurt a little bit because you did some fun striking drills or something like that, and then that's when you start practicing Krav Maga.
Wow.
When you're tired, you don't want to do it anymore. That's when you start training.
Wow,
and it's a thing where you start to develop a natural reflex. So it's in a nutshell, that's kind of what it's built on, and then it develops into, especially with our school. Once you've kind of learned the defenses, now. My instructor's like, who cares if you defended and got away? Now it's time to be a fighter and start kicking some ass, because his buddy's on the way, and you better start learning how to fight now. So now we've kind of moved into that being an aggressive fighter. We do a lot of striking drills, knees, elbows, kicks.
Now, do you find yourself? Did you ever find yourself actually using your skill in real life events out here, like just in case somebody?
Do you want to get the guy arrested? Of course he has. Yes, last week at Anaheim Stadium,
Just
I
my
threw a guy off
daughter
the
and
fourth
my
floor.
fiance. That's it.
Okay, just
That's enough.
Just those two.
Awesome. Okay, well, cool.
Well, no, I've had some guys, hit me, what has really sold it for me is someone come at you and how fast you defend it, and you don't even realize you did it.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, "Wow, what's up with that?"
Training.
And you're just like, "Okay, that's just the conditioning. You just constantly doing this." Going back to earlier, breaking the bones. You take an MMA who's training, an MMA fighter, he's training, and then someone who's doing Krav Maga. They're along the same lines. The difference is when they go this way, they have a set of rules that they have.
It's a sport.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that. It is very difficult to be very technical and learn how to strike and kick in the right place. You just can't kick him at the knee. Where on our side, I mean, when you look at that opponent, you see knees, groin, throat, jaw, nose, eyes. Those are our areas. That's what we're focusing on the things we want to do, because we want to end it as fast as we can, because we don't know what's coming after that. So that's where it starts to break. But we get a lot of guys who are MMA backgrounds, and they come in, and it's good. Now they're incorporating more jiu-jitsu.
Of course.
And the reason why is because everyone out there is learning jiu-jitsu. So, Krav Maga is adapting. And our instructor, he's a purple belt now at Checkmat. So he's kind of altered his Krav Maga to incorporate the fact that you may run into someone who has jiu-jitsu skills and some good jiu-jitsu skills. And I've rolled with some good guys and people who know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Sure.
It's tough.
It's a different game.
Yeah.
It eliminates a lot of things when you're on the ground.
It does, and we don't like to be on the ground.
Yeah.
At all. But if we have to, and it happens, we assume we're going to get knocked out, from behind. And we have to deal with this now.
Try jiu-jitsu in the ocean.
Oh no way.
Then that really separates them.
We do have you should come next time.
I would love to.
We have it. We have sometimes.
I can hold my breath forever.
We have low light fighting seminars where we go out in the park where there's low light, right? We kind of mimic park.
Like a real life scenario.
Sure.
Exactly. And we have ones where you're actually in the water. So we go out like 3 feet in the water. Changes everything you've ever learned.
Yeah.
Kneeing.
Well, also the way a person reacts to water and knowing that their breath will be taken away from them makes them second guess. And that hesitation is where the whole idea where your neural pathways are already set from training to exhaustion and then training more, that's when that comes out.
Yeah, that would. The best thing to do is to grab him and swim to the bottom.
Yeah.
So can we, when we come to your place, can we film a jiu-jitsu match with you and you?
Oh, let's do it.
Have you rolled with him yet? Have you?
Years ago.
It's been a while.
It's been years. Literally the first dojo. Second
No, it was
dojo.
here.
No. We were over there.
No, I know it's here.
Well, yes, it was here in the cul-de-sac, but we were over in F. We're now in J.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 dojos ago.
We were J, K,
We
and then
bumped every other year.
It was a while back,
It
though.
was a while, yeah. So, yeah, we've only been in this one since 16.
So it was when
I was probably blue belt.
blue belt?
Yeah,
Brown belt versus brown belt.
I know. But you got to poke me in the eye.
But mine's not a brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
I know.
That's a different monster. Getting a brown. If someone has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu,
It is
people have a
what it
blue
is.
belt in jiu-jitsu. I have a lot of respect for.
But you know he got his brown belt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Right
talk.
on toilet paper.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
about it.
It's a fact. let it be known.
And then I had a quick training question. One of the things that you said that I picked up on is that you guys do a lot of like drilling, for your techniques and everything. So are you doing any like sparring, or is it more just you stick to like live drilling, or like is that more, I guess, if you get more advanced like in MMA, obviously when you get to a more higher level, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I need to spar more just so I'm practicing those skills. So is that kind of the same thing for Krav Maga, or is that just because it's so intense, you're like, okay,
Can't poke a guy's
yeah, I
eyeballs
can't
out,
poke
right?
guys
Right.
eyeballs out.
No, we do. You have to. Now you have to get to that point. Keep the gloves on. But when you hit them, make sure you know that you're
Shoulda worn my
you're gonna-
sunglasses.
You're gonna do some damage. No, you have to get to that level. The last seminar we had was a sparring seminar, and my instructor is really good at breaking up the group. Put them in the right group. So he'll take all the brown and blacks, put them up in the cage, and
I see Joey bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
Hey,
and let me tell you,
this is 2020, Joe. Get your mind out of the gutter.
No, I
Back of the bus, Joe.
We got a problem with the Brownsy.
He's talking about Krav Maga, Joe.
I'm joking. I know.
Not your ride to work.
And and I'm sure from sparring, learning to control yourself is really where it's at, especially when you're tired and you're hurting or you're getting frustrated because someone is better than you. Yeah. And so we work really hard on making sure that your partner, Alan, my instructor, he wants to make sure that your partner is a good partner. If you don't have a good partner, you don't have a good Krav Maga, or you can't really develop. So it's important for me that I'm a good partner. So I go in and I start sparring, and for me, the last time I went in, I woke up that morning and I said, all I'm going to do is practice my jab. I go, that's going to be my focus the whole time I'm here. So I did that. I got hit a lot because after a while they go, he's practicing his jab. But you kind of have to work that and then kind of see what works, what doesn't. Bunch of guys in there, man, it escalates. Mm-hmm. It has to sometimes, but we want to discipline ourselves to keep it focused, because in a real situation, you got to stay focused, because you got to stay intense and on the ball. Yeah,
when you say good partner, I think control.
Yeah.
Control is such an important thing. Anybody can, hit the throttle and let go. Mm-hmm. But when you're with somebody that may be just beneath your level, you got to make sure you're not taking out your training partner.
Right. And you want them to come back too.
Yeah.
It's a business.
You're not going to get any better without them.
Right.
You need to grind with somebody, and more than somebody. As many as you can. So, and body types is what I love.
I had a question building on that. So, I don't really know too much about Krav Maga as like a martial art, but from my peripheral understanding, it's a martial art based around someone having a weapon or a weapon involved. Obviously, even when you take someone like a boxer to MMA or something where there's where you add just leg kicks, something that's just as simple as that, it changes everything about your striking, your weight, bearing your weight, stuff like that. So how do you practice? He was talking about technique and stuff. How do you practice that? Is it much different from say you come in, you have a boxing coach do striking or something? A weapon is a whole different, and being able to target anything. It's funny.
You kind of heard Krav Maga takes all the little bits of everything, and it really does. They want you to have the punch of a boxer. Who's just that thing's down in. That strike has already originated from the ground and your back leg. And
the hips.
And the way that's going to snap and where you're going to pull it back. It needs to be that hard, because when it hits, it needs to hit hard and really well. But at the same time, we're throwing elbows too.
Yeah.
And so, for me, you have to play with each one of those. For me, I see a lot more guys have a Muay Thai stance, a little bit more, because they're going to kick, they're going to block, and lately, just recently, my own instructors have been having me blade up more. Don't be showing so much of my chest.
That's karate style.
Blade up more, and it's and he'll change the way I do things for a while.
Yeah.
And then we'll develop other things, and for me, it's just been a challenge to do that.
Yeah.
In the end, you just listen to your instructor, and you practice, and because when it comes down to it, like I said, the one thing that I really want to have down, because when you're under real pressure, you lose 90% of what you ever did, and you're going to hang on to about 10% of that and maybe pull off 3%. Yeah. Like I said, if I can have a good jab and a right, maybe a kick, and I can get out of there, I'll be happy. As long as I can see the person go down and I can get myself and whoever out. But
it's very generous for a guy his size to say that.
There is what's that?
Just you could do more damage than that. We know it, but it's very generous for you to say just a quick jab, cross, kick, out.
Well, yeah,
I imagine by the size alone, that's devastating, right? Especially for someone that doesn't train.
Yeah. Well, I want to get home too. I don't want to find out how good they really are.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want his friend showing up, and I definitely don't want him pulling something out. We do knife, a lot of gun disarms.
Yeah.
And gun disarms.
I love that.
I like those.
Yeah.
The ones that get me are the knives, because that will probably, where I live, that would be more realistic. Someone's gonna have a knife. So with knife, you have to train aggressively at that, and you can't. One of my earlier instructors said, when it comes to knife fights, you have gushers and you have bleeders. We're bleeders. You're gonna get cut. It's a damn knife fight.
Yeah.
You're gonna get cut, but they're gonna be the ones bleeding if you get a hold of a knife
a hold of it,
or something like that.
Get a hold of the wrist.
There's consequences to your actions, though. You can't be out there being irresponsible.
Yeah.
You want to do what you have to do to protect yourself, so you can give an account. There's cameras everywhere now.
Yeah.
If they see you stomping the head after you're done and doing flying kicks,
And that's why I believe it. Back when I used to, protect, and this is way before I got in bodyguarding, but I used to hang out in the streets and stuff. When I fought somebody, I knew I had the power to throw that jab, throw a cross, maybe throw a hook, and knock them out and walk away. But there's times where I have to pull boys off each other because dude's knocked out, like he's done.
Yeah.
Get out of here, because otherwise they want to stomp in the head and they're world star,
Yeah.
cameras.
American History X.
Stop.
It's not good. Like he's knocked out. Like who cares?
Yeah.
You proved your point. And now there's times where I have to pull,
you can't buy him a beer now and say, all right, my bad. I got out of control.
And there's times where I actually knocked out some guys, and I felt so bad that I actually had to lift them up. Like, dude, are we cool? Like, let's go have a drink.
Yeah.
Or maybe next following week we're friends, we're homies now because
Yeah.
he was being stupid, and I had to prove my point.
Yeah. He licked him, or the Krav Maga.
Sorry.
It's okay. No. Sorry.
We crosstalk a lot.
No,
Just go for it.
No, he said in Krav Maga, be so good that you don't have to kill.
Yeah.
Be that good that you don't have to. So you are constantly training. I don't think there's ever a plateau. You're just always. I'm getting older, man. My body's not the same. I like to trail run and do a lot of other things, but
Play my guitar.
it's funny. I couldn't play guitar
No,
doing jiu-jitsu.
because there's so much impact with punching and then so much grip strength with gi. It almost destroyed. I had to retrain myself. What I already knew.
Exactly. I agree. I went down to play lead one time.
Yeah.
Scream like a girl, man. Like, what the hell was that?
Our joints are messed up.
I had some pain in here, man.
Yeah.
These fingers are always taped.
Oh, these are all broken. They're not even straight anymore.
Damn, Neanderthal.
Look at that thing.
Bunch of old guys.
Monkey fingers.
That's it.
It is old guy shit. It is old guy shit.
I'm almost there.
Oh, you're there, Joe. You're going to.
I colored my hair.
I hate to tell you this, but
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, thanks.
I was thinking.
colors his hair every week.
I didn't want to say anything.
You're about to go take the Fudge River ride. That's a tough one.
You know.
You know you're up there when they're checking out your, right?
But my hair looks good.
Your anus.
Oh no! Don't bring that up. That's the end of the month.
late.
That's messed up. God.
He's like,
We want the results on next show.
That's the next month.
oh my god.
There's a mudslide in Lake Forest.
How do I get that watch in there?
He must be talking about his test.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
And the end of the month, I'm getting one of those colonoscopy.
One of those.
Yeah, they put the camera up the freaking, the butt, and they're gonna find some treasure in there. I think.
I hope so. Dennis Rodman's class ring.
Oh no!
Oh no.
He's got big fingers. Look out. You got to dilate to 10 to get that out.
Okay, back to our guest.
Okay.
Yes.
I've known Little John for many years.
Yeah.
And he even calls me by the proper name. Little John.
Oh yeah.
My dad's Big John.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Little.
Thank you, Joe Exotic.
Thanks.
Joey Exotic. Hey, have you caught that show at all, Joey?
I don't even waste my time with
It's
it.
not a
He's
waste.
like, I'm tired of hearing about it.
It's not a
Even,
waste.
there's so many other good things out there to watch.
It is
But
not a
there's so many
waste.
good memes.
But honestly,
Right?
Missing it all.
Carol Baskin. Fuck Carol Baskin.
It's gonna be stupid, but honestly, it was a great show. I liked it. I mean, I heard rumors that they're gonna do a mini series and they're gonna have Nicolas Cage play Joe Exotic.
I think that's
Why?
cool.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, but Nicolas, it was on the E channel. So the little
Yeah.
alert
It's
in
for
the bottom.
real. It's for real.
Nicolas Cage is gonna play Joe Exotic.
We'll see if he gets out of prison. Trump might give him a pardon, a presidential pardon. You never know. Weirder things have happened in 2020. We're in the 5th month. Barely. Okay?
Yeah, don't we have the killer hornets here now?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
killer hornets.
Jeez.
If things weren't already worse, they have killer insects coming after us.
That are the size of your hand.
Yeah, something like that, right?
They're like a cross.
Have you seen
That
them?
size.
Because you're in the wildlife, so I
I've
figure
seen
you.
No, I have not.
No?
First I'm hearing of this.
Oh, you're gonna
Yeah,
get one
and
out
they
there.
like murder bees. But I was
That's what
reading-
they're called, murder
Yeah,
bees.
yeah, they
Something like that, right?
They'll just kill them. They'll just
Chop their heads off. And
Yeah, but the bees in Japan have developed like a thing.
Yeah.
You just need to walk around just like torching killer wasps.
This guy.
Lysol.
True.
Yeah, Lysol works.
Yeah.
Inject
Right.
it, drink it.
Well, that's what the president says to
I
do.
know.
No, I meant Lysol on a lighter.
I don't think that'll
Scratch
help.
that though.
They're like demons. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Like the Japanese bees, I read in like Nature's Metal, like one of their things.
Nature's
I don't know what to call
Metal.
them on Instagram. But they were saying the Japanese bees have developed a way of coming together and they like vibrate their bodies to create this like heat, and they'll like kill the wasps or kill the hornets. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it's a hornet.
Yeah, my
Murder
bad.
hornets.
Yeah, but the European bees and the ones we have don't get it, so
They're just fancy bees.
they just die. So, yeah, they just get killed. So
Fancy
I don't know.
bees.
Maybe they can teach
I shake a
them.
lot. And I put a lot of heat.
Yes, your Indian name is Jumps with a Jiggle. We like that jiggle, Joe.
Yeah, I like that.
You
was
should
fun.
twerk for us on camera.
I will.
He's done it and he
I-
takes his shirt off.
I've been drinking and Cinco de Mayo. You know, I'll be up soon. You know, but
Coco,
we'll see what happens.
we look forward to it.
Can't wait.
Yes.
I'm gonna make my ass clap
Oh,
for some dollars.
we're going to lose our guest. You don't want to see that.
John will fill me in.
Oh, yeah, you know. Well, you have a whole segment with Joe because about quarter till we're going to go to what we call bull or no bull. We're not there yet, but Joey has 3 stories for you. You have to choose which one's
Your
real and
Cinco
which
de
one's
Mayo
not.
stories.
So,
Oh.
and Joey's lived. Joey the bull is not on camera, but Joey has lived
Yes.
quite a life. Done things that I've never even heard of.
What threatened Mike Tyson?
Yeah, he threatened Mike
All
Tyson.
that shit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dennis
Good, yeah.
Rodman walks into a kitchen with, full Dennis out, and he's cooking eggs for him. I'd be like, can you put the killer away? But Joey he's cool with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It's his
phase
house. It
him.
works for him.
Well, still. What, did you dry it off?
No, I just asked him, want me to cook that too?
Oh, Joe, you killed me.
I have no shame in my game, brother.
I know. I can only imagine what really happened.
Oh no.
We'll get it in bull or no bull.
Let's go back to our guest again.
Yeah.
That's right. That's a fact. Yes, getting back to our guests. So Jay is now a brown belt in Krav Maga, which is a dangerous martial art because unlike a lot of things that are being trained now commonly with a lot of dojos that are around, a lot of MIC dojos, they're sport-based, point-based. Krav Maga, as I understand it, is more to debilitate in a quick manner and either retreat, get the hell out of there for great reasons.
Yeah.
Number one being, you're in a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? The assault charges are up the ass right now, so you don't want to really get those. I think we don't necessarily want to hurt people, but to protect yourself, you gotta take someone out. And I like that you talk about the focus areas. That's something it is different from, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing. We don't talk about eye gouging, biting, right?
Yeah.
Throat punches.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, if you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
But that fist has to be head toward a vulnerable spot.
Mm-hmm.
There's no special technique. You make a fist like you make a fist. You're not trying to think of a special way to, do your knuckles right. You want to make sure that you hit with these two. These two are straight right behind that bone. So when it hits, it sends a message.
Impactful.
Yeah. It happens so fast. You think of the last altercation you got into.
Yep.
And you're surprised on how much you let someone get too close to you.
I was falsely charged for my last altercation. I'll just leave it at that in case somebody's watching.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
We can,
What the? That's one thing I do have to take care of before I go to Europe. But yes,
yes, there you go.
we were talking about this earlier. I got to get that wiped
We haven't talked about that.
off camera.
Would you beat up a little person or what?
Well, I am a little person, so there's only one way to go is up. It's all midget wrestling here, baby. You know
Little
that.
John's deceptively strong, though.
Well, no. This guy, he can hold himself up on a telephone pole, like with the arm. I can't do that.
Oh, I'll break.
And he does it drinking. Like he drank heavily that night, and
It was a wedding.
well, I don't know what it was, but
It was a wedding.
I couldn't hold myself up on a telephone pole sideways. I could do a pull up, sure, but he can posture.
That was
His,
years ago, too. It ain't going to happen today.
he can posture his 6'4" body,
6'4", 6 foot.
6'5", horizontally on the telephone pole.
Like
Times 6
topology.
foot.
Right? I always add inches. I have to.
Well, you got that inches.
I got to.
Don't call you Little John for nothing.
That's right. Don't you forget it. You know it. Hey, it's
Forget two in a can.
it's Poquito Juan, right? Juan Poco.
Oh, one poke. That's all you get.
One poke. One poke, not as deep as Dennis.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, look at this guy.
Never.
Never. You know? Wasn't like that?
Never.
Didn't try it once?
No.
Is that for bull or no bull?
I'm
going to call you out on that one. So, Krav. Origins in Czechoslovakia. Jewish population there in World War II. After World War II, they have the Nazi hunters, the Mossad. That's initially what they were doing, and the way I understood it. Is Krav Maga part of what they do? Because I watch movies with those guys, and they're savage.
Yeah. Emi started a group called the Paul Mac, which was the Palestinian area. Before, I think in 48, Israel became a state, and the Israeli Defense Forces was created, and they took Krav Maga as the model. And it still stands to this day. Every Israeli goes to the service 2 years, and they learn Krav Maga. I run into these folks out in my world, my work.
That's what makes this great.
And I love it because I was talking with this one guy, and he was very aggressive. And he's talking, and he's looking at me, and he's kind of getting close, and I'm like, come on. And he looks at my glasses and goes, do you do Iron Man? And I said, I run trails.
Are you Dog the Bounty Hunter's nephew? That's what I would have said.
How long have you been growing that?
That's right. That's right.
I said, nah. He's all like he's sizing me up a little bit, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, I know this guy is involved with something. I couldn't tell, so we started talking. Of course, he's in Israel. He was part of their one of their forces. He's showing me pictures and stuff like that. Because once I told him I did Krav Maga, we just couldn't stop talking.
Sure.
So I love it. And this guy was moked, man. He was ready to go.
That's pretty cool.
So we just keep talking though.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't want to find out how good you are for no reason.
And you almost don't know. You can't drive down the 22 and just fly the finger and pray that somebody doesn't know something, because everybody knows something.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Not so much. Something tells me that you got.
I will say this though about Krav Maga. One thing that I like, and what got me to actually go look for Krav Maga was, you ever seen Human Weapon?
Yeah.
History Channel.
The great show.
Yeah.
Okay.
They really made a science of the fight game.
Yeah. So
broke it down.
they focused on all the world fighting systems.
Yes.
So they did the one for Krav Maga. I said, I'm gonna watch this. I was like, what is this Krav Maga? And I remember watching this guy on top of Mossad. His name was Dennis Andover. He's kind of an older man who lost his family to Nazis. And the way he was describing Krav Maga, and I thought, that's it. That's the system you want to train, because intuitively it made sense. You're getting hit, okay? You're not going to block every fight. You're engaged, but man, this is really built on a real common sense. It's messy. A fight is messy. I don't care how you dice it up, man, because usually when it happens, you're like, this is the last thing I thought I was going to be doing right now. And we put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, like small rooms. We used to do these like bar fight scenarios, where we're just packed, and then you have to deal with the situation. And intuitively, you're going to get hit, so you kind of get used to that idea. Not that you want to be hit, but to do your work, don't worry, you're going to get hit. It's okay. But what I liked about it most, what I actually decided that's what I want to do. You said you don't know anything? You come to Krav Maga, not even a month, you will have a punch and a kick, and you'll have some sense of, if someone came at me, I can handle myself. Even if that means when you're done, you need to scream. Do whatever you got to do.
Exactly.
But how fast you can get someone up with just a few skills. Just teaching them to strike. A guy I worked with, he was 70 years old. And we were talking, and he's all, boy, I couldn't do that now. I wouldn't know what to do. I said, you let him get close enough to you, hold your hands up like you being nice, and then when he gets close, you go, bam, right in the eyeball. Yeah, poke him right in there. I promise he's not going to bother you, because when his nose flares up and his eyes are red and he can't see, you can decide if you want to kick him in the balls and knock him down and then take off, or
Bite
just
off his
get
ears.
out. But it gives you something quick.
Yeah.
And to me, you know Hannah.
Sure.
My daughter's always, Dad, can I punch you in the stomach? I'm like, no.
Because she thinks her dad's Superman.
And she does. I mean, the last time
I know she does.
Bruise marks on my gut. I'm trying to act like it didn't hurt. I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, she's getting stronger.
Can I drink a beer first? Okay, hit me now.
No, I don't want to spill it. Wait. But, teaching her just a few things. I would bring her to train with some of the guys I would train with and say, this is what it's going to feel like if you have a grown-ass man get a hold of you. You're going to feel completely helpless unless you come to grips with that reality that someone's going to be stronger than you, but it does not leave you defenseless. There are things you can do. There's subtle things that you can do quickly, too, like within a month or so, and you can develop a sense of confidence. Some of the people I train with, most humble, nice, you wouldn't even know. But, man, I would not try doing something.
Robert, our producer, you wouldn't guess. You'd think he's just going for Subway, but he could kill you. Really.
He could kill you.
He's the Hawaiian assassin. He really is, and they don't know. People don't know. You want to put on gloves, think he might get tired? He might get tired, but he might knock you out first, which is more likely. He's a dangerous dude. I know, I shouldn't say that on camera. Sorry, Robert. I just blew his cover. He really is the Kung Fu Panda. He lives it.
Movie.
Yeah, I think they designed. That's Robert right there, the Kung Fu Panda, right behind my head. Love that shirt. We got those shirts on sale on chipcrashers.com. Anyways, like us, subscribe to us, and share the link. Joe, how you feeling? Everything good?
Everything's great.
Right on. I'm glad to hear that. So, do you have any further questions for Jay about Krav Maga?
No, there's a lot of questions I'd like to ask.
Well, I want to add this. This dude blows me away because it isn't just that he took Krav Maga to this level. Brown belt level, between black and brown, it really is just time. He's already put in the effort. That gap now is just you closing the distance on the people that have trained you because you have a lot of skill set behind you. That's how I believe, at least. You can put that into effect. But before all of this, going back into a young man, he's studying ancient Semitic languages. Everybody else smoking weed, watching Next Friday, drinking.
I just saw that, too. That's a good movie.
Dude, he's in the Ozarks.
Busy studying.
He was in the Ozarks before it was cool to be watching Ozark,
Can't tell?
Come back with a cooter in his hat.
A what?
Right? A cooter.
Oh.
I knew
Hey,
it.
Robert, you heard the same thing, right?
Yeah, I said cooter.
Okay.
He's also the guy from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay.
You don't watch Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, I watched
That's
it.
your thing?
Man, you got to tell them what a cooter is now.
It's the hat when they fold it like a taco. But I didn't touch on my hat. It cost me money.
I was going to say.
He cootered his own hat. They taco that thing. We do flat bills here, but
But, yeah, just the way, a cooter. On
You like that, don't you?
That's
You
wow.
I'm going to bring one.
Damn,
You better keep yourself away from me. But yes, ancient Semitic languages. So I had thought Krav Maga, his whole history of what he had learned with his master's degree. Where is the history of martial arts from there? Because I know a little about the monks in China, the early days in India, where they're developing martial arts that would soon become karate, kung fu, and the traditional martial arts as we know them. But there has to be something from those early times on some cuneiform, some ancient language that you read about, some skill or something that came prehistory.
Yeah, I haven't run across not an ancient Mesopotamia. There is okay, as long as you've had two men
Yeah.
out in the field,
Cain and Abel.
you had fighting. It's just
Nature.
especially if you're brothers.
Especially if there's a woman nearby.
And you have fighting
Right?
more often.
You know this, right?
Yeah.
You know this firsthand.
And,
you probably started quite a few fights. Don't lie.
No.
And you've always had that. I guess at some point someone was like getting tired of getting beat up, or and it's going to develop. Now, when you get into like building a nation like Mesopotamia, or especially the Assyrians were
Ruthless.
They were really, really mean people, and they did that to make a point, so they can expand their country. And there are texts that their deterrent was to skin their enemies and cover the house with their skin as you came in.
This is the kind of thing I want to hear.
To take notes on how bad they are, or they'll impale them. And they didn't do it the nice way. Like a cross in the ancient world was more like a tau. The Greek word for tau wasn't like a cross like you see on your necklace. Some were.
It was like an X.
Yeah. Well,
We see it like an X,
the
right?
Assyrians were like, forget that. See, the Greeks and the Romans are a bit more sophisticated.
Sure.
Like, yeah, let's make this paint.
Symmetry.
Yeah. And at the Assyrians, it's just a wood spike.
Oh, right up the ass.
And they find the hole. And
Oh.
it's easier to hold the legs and bring it down. I mean,
Oh.
it's just it's a very ruthless
this is the thing. I'm glad you brought that up because yes, I want to know about this. So the Assyrians, and that's about the time of Sumeria.
Before they're a little bit after.
After?
Yeah, Mesopotamia.
I want to know about like the
Sumer.
timeline for this kind of stuff. You know?
I should have smoked before this.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Well, I'm drinking, bro.
Well, you know.
I mean, you gotta learn. I mean, I think there's I've seen a mosaic of the first boxing gloves, the Minoan.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
And it's interesting. You know, you can see this little. I was like, God, it looks like the little gloves that you see. You know, and it looks a little bit more round. Mm-hmm. And I just happened to come across. I'll have to show it to you later.
Yeah, I'm interested.
As a matter of fact, I wanted to send it to you earlier because.
Could have brought it up on the
I went down
screen.
the YouTube rabbit hole, man,
Yeah.
and I found these people out fighting. I couldn't tell you what country it was, but they wrapped this string around their arm, and they wrapped this string, and they have that thing ready to go.
Oh wow!
And they just push at each other until one can get the right angle. It's a trip, man. I'm watching this, and when you get hit, it hurts.
Well, string wrapped 1,000 times over becomes rock hard.
Yeah.
Right, and then that grip. Anybody who's ever wrapped your hands, truly wrapped you may know. Back in the day, if you taped your hands, not a soft wrap.
No.
But once you tape your hands up, there's some kind of invincibility that comes into
It
a
feels
man's
good.
soul.
Yeah, it feels
You
good.
think you can punch through brick?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's like putting on a new pair of running shoes. You always run faster.
That's right.
You don't really run faster. You just-
I try running shoes. They don't work. I can't run them. Yeah, I tried. First 10 steps, I'm like dying.
We call those blowouts. He just blew the seams out of them.
All that gel from the bottom, all gone.
Well, there was a time when you could run, though, huh, Joe?
Yeah, there was time back in the day when I was a tough motherfucker, you know.
Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah.
I like the stories.
Beautiful 210.
I seen you come up the stairs, but it takes 20 minutes. And it's running.
I'm strutting now.
I like it.
You know,
Right now.
let's get that right.
So the Assyrians, is that still that cradle of the earth there near
Yeah.
Iraq, Iran,
Yep.
Syria?
More northern Mesopotamia. You had the Mesopotamians, the Sumerians, and then of course they start nation building. People go off. They want their own. Then the Assyrians, and your Babylonians, your Medo-Persians, your Greeks, and your Romans, Turkish. Here we go. That's the quick one.
Yeah, I like it quick. Quick's all we got. We got
But
an hour.
everyone's gonna develop some kind of. It's interesting when the Greeks decided to make it a sport.
Yeah.
With wrestling,
We call it the Olympics now,
they call it Olympics now.
except we wear clothes
Yeah.
and no baby oil. Well, maybe Joey, but
Yeah. And I wrestled, so
yeah.
I think that's kind of what always kept me going back into wanting to find something to do. Just to that's the way I kind of relax.
That's an interesting thing, yeah, because you missed that grind. You had that grind as a young man.
Oh, it's in your blood.
Full of
I still
testosterone.
don't. Yeah, I just watched the NCAA Division One. Well, they didn't have the finals this year, but I was watching some of the matches before that, and I cannot sit still and watch those. Man, I'm sitting there, I'm like,
Pumped.
God,
Yeah.
get him! And then I'm just like, who's to wrestle around here? And the team's like, no, not me.
Yeah.
It's like it gets in you, and that's one of the things that I liked about going into jiu-jitsu, especially with no gi.
Similar.
Gi, man, these guys who know what they're doing with that gi. It's amazing. I have a lot of respect. I've rolled with some guys that are just really good, and I can kind of hold you there, but I can't hold you there for long. They'll wait me out, man, and it's like if I burn up all my energy, I'm in trouble. And they just
That's the
slowly
game,
move.
right? That's the game.
Ugh.
And it's a game of millimeters. Once you are off center and you got a hold of a gi, it turns into something that you don't want to have to deal with.
Right.
Because it sinks in. It could sink in like an anaconda. That truly is the kind of the way it works. Not the actual choke itself, but they watch you move slowly and then they tighten up.
Oh, yeah.
And then you move a little and they tighten up again. And then you're really screwed. You think you're screwed to begin with, but those small movements you are trying to escape, but those are sinking you in deeper.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's deep.
I've been there on both ends, and it's really nice when you've executed and you sunk it deep.
Yes,
and you're
yes.
like, oh, that feels good.
Especially against a competitor that may have a little higher skill level or more years in the sport or might be bigger and stronger, and then you execute something and you're like, hey, it worked.
Yeah,
That's the test.
it's
It's always those things. Anybody could tap a white belt. Come on, leave it alone. That's not even
it naturally leads to, like you were asking about sparring. Doing jiu-jitsu, I'm like, how good am I? I roll with the guys. I said, let's go to a tournament. The only way I'm going to find out if I'm learning anything is to go to a tournament.
Yeah.
And even then, that's when you really start to learn about
yourself.
yourself and your style. And For
You're
me,
breathing.
I had to quit being. My jiu-jitsu instructor would say, "You're just combative." And it's like you just like the fight itself, which is kind of true. I like that, but you want to develop the skill and learn to be relaxed, and that was difficult for me because you're taking Krav. Krav has one switch. When you turn that switch on, it's you go to work and you got to do what you got to do. And jiu-jitsu, which has been different, is learning to slow down. Now you do slow down in Krav, but it's a control. It's hard to explain. It's like you learn to do a lot of things very smoothly.
Yeah,
Our saying is
fluidity to your game, because
Yes.
you're working with somebody else, even if you're competing with them. You're still kind of going with them to get something else. I don't know. It's a weird chess game.
It is.
if
It
you
is.
will.
It is.
Yeah.
Smooth is fast. How's it go? Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Get it down right. Don't sacrifice form for function. Keep that form in that position. That as you get better, it looks like you're moving slow, but when you watch these professional fighters, I mean, I have so much respect on that. They say, you're watching a fight, you go, what the hell just happened? How'd the guy go down? And they're like, that guy saw that. He saw the opening. I was like, I didn't see anything. And then you watch it in slow motion. There it is. Doom, doom. There goes his leg, his head, his arms down, his hands are down.
The setup.
He
the
saw the
setup
setup.
is a beautiful thing.
Robert can see that. I'm going for pizza, and he says, "Sit down. You need to see this." I'm like, "The hell are you talking about? I'm hungry." Robert sees those kinds of things.
Yeah.
He's the Matrix, the Panda Matrix.
Yeah, that's all. If you can, that's great.
Yeah,
because
he has that.
I think that's where lately the one theme my coach has really been kind of getting on is position. Change your position. You don't have to stay where you're at. Do something different. Get into a different position. You always want to keep moving on those.
Yeah.
Never giving them something something to read. So
That adds an element, to
Of
people
surprise.
that move around too in the cage. Like that adds an element because you're constantly, instead of just kind of doing this, you're like moving around. Having to keep track of the movement, your balance to be able to set up a
Unorthodox,
shot.
right?
Yeah.
yeah, and you can tell they're trying to find your range, and you're trying to find their range, and you're gonna dance, but that dance, it comes together, and it has to come together.
Yeah.
So it's it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I like that. I wonder how Muay Thai comes into play with like the clinch and some of the Krav things, because
Yeah,
clinch
we-
is so important to break someone down.
Yeah, we do a lot of It's funny. I mean, my knees, elbows, kicks, Muay Thai. Like my strikes, I would say boxing. Some of the, at least in our school, I mean, they're all pretty much the same. They call it like the 360s. It's kind of like a karate block, Someone comes at you with a big, swooping, left hook. You're gonna get there, but it's just different on your approach because not only are you gonna, like I said, not only are you gonna block it, you're gonna be simultaneously striking them too. And that sends a mixed message. If you're going to like hit someone really hard, they're out of control, and you get blocked, and that hurts, and you get punched at the same time, and that just got it started.
Unexpected.
That just got it started. And then when you do that, and if you can get in, then it's a change to Muay Thai then.
Yeah.
Now then if you can get in and knee them, elbow them, it's hard to train with elbows though, and
Yeah.
there are times, man, you're sitting there. I mean, I got 8 stitches on my forehead here one time.
Broken orbital. You can imagine.
It's going to be hard, but you have to, and you have to do it. But you have to be careful, man. You got to make sure your mitts on the right spot.
Yeah.
And of course, we like to goof around and push it a little bit.
Yeah, that's when all the wonderful things happen.
Yeah.
The moment I goof around is when I get hurt.
Yeah.
Training, I never get hurt. Somebody comes up and trips me, bam, I'm out for a week because I sprained my ankle. You know what I mean? It's the goofing around.
Getting off the couch, man. I'm like, what happened?
I technical lift out of the tub. Hit the soap.
That's scary.
There's a dead seal.
I am not coming in to help you.
I am a bather. Joey, do you bathe? Do you shower?
Back when I used to fit in the bathtub, I used to.
Oh, I
I
see.
put one drop in the water, I sit down, all the water goes up to my tits.
Woo! Exciting.
Otherwise, I'm in the shower. There's times where I drop the soap and I'm trying to grab it. Unfortunately, the place I live in now belonged to an elderly person, so they had these cool little hanging holding devices.
Oh, it was made for you.
Dude, yeah, and honestly,
Robert's dying over there.
Many times I've almost done the splits, And oh my God, I scream out loud, and my lady's like, "Baby, you can't go no! I almost fucking cracked my ass in the fucking shower."
Oh my God.
It sucks. Getting old and you can't maintain your balance. And we bought even those stupid little things.
I was gonna say the little grips.
The little grips. They finally wore it out. I gotta buy some new ones. You know?
Is that the thing on the ground?
No,
Dude, they're slippery once they get once they're
they
used.
come
They're so
loose and
slippery.
They look like this sandpaper waterproof.
They have them
Oh,
at hotels
okay.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, those.
You talking about the bars, like the ADA bars?
No, the bottom,
No,
like
the
on
bottoms,
the bottom, it's like a tread.
It's like a tread you put on your bathtub so you don't slip.
Oh.
And those are wearing out. So therefore, that's the
I
reason
call that
why
grip
I've
tape.
done the split plenty of times.
Exactly.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts when you,
Traction pad.
body
Yeah.
moves a certain way.
Yeah.
Cool. Great narrative, Joe. I love that. Always very descriptive. It's good stuff. But let's bring you on camera for Bull or No Bull, so Jay can figure out what story is bull, and the rest of us can laugh our asses off. We're gonna go to a commercial, and Big Joe's gonna get off the couch.
I'm really excited for this. We were talking about this.
You guys were?
Way over
It's
here.
the
Yeah,
best
we're like,
segment.
oh my God. What is he gonna say?
This is A to Z.
You got to come and just do a
Regular class?
yeah.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Feliz.
Feliz. I've been drinking a lot behind the scenes. I have a bottle back there with my shot glasses and some beer and had all you can eat tacos. I'm full and I'm gassy, so I do apologize if I let it go. I'll let it go.
There you go.
So welcome to my segment. This is Bull or No Bull. So these are 3 stories I'm telling. One of them is true. These are stories that happened in my life. But like I said, one of them is true. Last week's segment was basically 3 stories I had where one was I had a guy kickbox me, hit me in the stomach, made me poop myself. The other one, the other story was I had to go pee really bad, so unfortunately I couldn't hold it in. I live at an apartment complex where I lived almost a mile away from my apartment, so I pissed my pants, and so I took off my pants, ran naked from my car all the way back to my apartment with my stuff just flapping in the wind. And then the third story, yes, and the third story was when I was young and desperate, I made an adult movie. So there you go. Yeah.
Was it female or male?
So the guest last time had to guess which one was
True. And the one that
Announce it right now?
well, yeah, the one was true. Unfortunately, was I was young and desperate, and no, I made a movie. Okay, Jesus, we were all young and dumb, needed the money, and that's what I did. But
On camera or phone?
it was on camera. But I'm not sure where the movie's at. The people that I did it with, they took off and they took off with the footage, and they might have it somewhere in their storage. Maybe it didn't make the internet. Maybe I wasn't good enough. I don't know.
Was it called Puerto Ricans in Paradise?
I have no idea.
Or maybe they just wanted a private collection.
Probably add to their trophies of all the movies they had. Yeah. Anyway. Anywho, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
You just threw Jay for a curveball.
yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that one.
Well,
I mean, not on any.
what are you trying to say?
No, I just would have thought.
I mean, back in the day, bro, I was like good 210, 220.
I believe it. I believe it.
Sexy.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Shitting one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay, yeah.
What'd you say?
I got a big cock.
Well, I do. But anyway, back to the stories. Here's my first story. You know what?
Okay.
I've been looking at this whole thing about Mike Tyson coming back. And there's a story I shared in my last segment a while back where I actually approached Mike Tyson. And I did tell him that it would have been an honor to fight you. I'm a boxer myself, and I guaranteed it'll be a great fight, but also that I'll guarantee I'll win the fight. And he shook my hand, told me I had balls, and told me thank you. He didn't hit me. He didn't slap my face. But now there's a new video out there where he's hitting, and the video is like probably a good 20 seconds of him just Bah, 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 and done. I'm like, okay, great. Maybe he's making a comeback. So, Mike, if you're making a comeback, I've been messaging Mike's Instagram and Facebook. I want to make a comeback too, because I definitely want to fight him. I mean, I'm a little overweight. I still have skill, but hold on a second. Here we go. Here we go.
Joe, I love you. I don't want to see you get hurt.
Dude, I have the balls to do it.
I would love to see you get back in shape.
You're better off.
What? Mike Tyson.
Make that comeback first.
BBW.
I mean.
I have a pretty strong chin. I have good stance. I punch trees all day.
You're all neck. You're head and shoulders.
Well, yeah, 'cause I'm fat. If I was skinny, I have a neck. Look, I mean, yeah, just have my own safety cushion when I'm on the plane like this. I don't need to buy a pillow. You know, it's there.
All right, Joe. If you trade for Mike Tyson, I will help you.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
He's like, I just want to walk out with him. That's it.
Honestly, if Mike hits me up, I've been messaging Mike's Instagram, Facebook. I've been hitting him up saying, dude, I want to challenge you. I know you're old as hell. I know your little video clips only last 20 seconds. I guarantee you're out of breath. You're out of wind. You go and smoke your CBD and whatever you're smoking. But I know what you're doing. So that's my first statement. Mike Tyson, I'll beat your ass. Second story.
Am I part of this call out?
Is this the first story?
That was the first story.
Okay.
You're calling out Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Second story.
Catch weight.
Wait, so you did do that?
Yeah, I did call him out a long time ago, and then
No. Now.
now I did call him out.
Okay, so that. Okay.
Just because I know it's been a while, he hasn't seen. I mean, I bumped into Mike Tyson a lot in the past, where because I used to work for Rodman, so I used to bump into Tyson a lot. He remembered me. He's like, "Dude, you were the guy that." I go, "Yeah, that was the guy that freaking talked to you and said I'll beat your ass." Yeah, that was me. Oh, that's ludicrous. Anyway, but back to my second story. Because it's Cinco de Mayo, I gotta share the story. I was in Mexico partying with the boys, and I was probably a good, I think, 18 years old. I was young, and you get to drink at a young age over there, drinking, partying up, eating tacos, taking shots, partying with all the girls, whoop whoop whoop, showing everything, dropping it like it's hot. Make it back across the United States, trying to get back home wasn't nice. Now, of course, I'm stuck in the car. We pull up to the state borderline, and they're asking all my boys questions. Why do you come to Mexico? Party. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. What's your name? So he asked, and then till he came to me, I was so drunk off my ass that I couldn't even speak English. And he asked me, where's your identification? I lost it. Who's the president? I have no fucking idea. Let's get him out of the car. So basically, they pulled me out of the car, and they kept me. Lamiga kept me, and if I had to call my mother that lived in Orange County, say, Mom, you got to either come down here with something because they're not letting me come back. I'm telling them I'm a freaking American, and they don't believe me. I mean, I can say jumbo jack with cheese. I can say yumbo yak with cheese. I can sit on my chair, sit on my chair. What do you want? So therefore, I was stuck in Mexico for at least a day because they didn't believe I was an American citizen until they had to show proof. And so, yeah, I was a bean for a day down south of the border. That's story number 2.
Fact.
That's a... What do you mean? I mean, really?
That's an occurrence.
Geez, this story I'm not proud of.
The third one?
Yeah. I was a young kid. I was, dancing the Beastie Boys, and the Beastie Boys came out with their tape deck, and I was break dancing in this neighborhood. And this is another kind of a Cinco de Mayo story because it involves Mexicans. And so I was breakdancing, doing Beastie Boys, Brass Monkey, girls, And next thing you know, these 3, 4, they call them cholas. If you don't know what chola is, there's the Hispanic girls that wear eyeliner that goes from here to socks to here.
Yes.
And they wear Aquanet that they make their hair go up to here. So they spray their hair, it looks like a freaking, like they're waving at you.
I know.
And so they're walking by and they're like, who's this? Can I say that word in Spanish? Yeah. Well, who's this puto dancing and breakdancing? Because I was light in my feet. I was a little, my mom always kind of like just judged me a little bit. I was very light in my feet. I was a dancer. I was just doing my thing. And these girls thought I was a little fairy. And so they hit me up. They pushed me. They bullied me. And basically they beat the shit out of me. So I got beat up by a bunch of girls. And after that, when my dad found out, he beat me up. And that was my third story.
Did you shit your pants?
No, this time. No, there's no shitting story this time. I remember last time I was talking about. So I got 3 stories. Those are my 3 stories. I got, I called Mike Tyson. I messaged him. I messaged him saying I want to beat his ass because I know I can do it at my age, at his age. We can start training together and I can put a great fight. Second story, got held in Mexico because I had my ID because they didn't let me back because they thought I was a bean. And then, of course,
Were they hold you back in the U.S. or in Mexico?
Mexico. They won't let me back. They were like, "Sorry, senor, you stay here." And I go, "But I'm American." Now I'm like telling the U.S. border like they're American. I'm American just like you. Sorry, sir, you can't come through here. I'm like, so they put me back to Mexico, and I was hanging out with selling chiclets, trying to get back across. And so, and of course, the third story is me getting beat up by 4 big chola-looking chicks with a lot of eyeliner and aquanet.
So for the first story, what catch weight are you facing Mike at? Like, is Mike gonna come in 240 and are you a good, clean, like healthy 325, or, how much is Mike having to give up here, Joey, for this catch weight bout?
That's a fair question.
That's a fair question. But I'm trying to get down to at least 270, bro.
Yeah,
Come on.
so 320. All right.
Yeah. Man, that's messed up. You think I can lose some weight? Come on, Waldo.
Come on.
I found him. if y'all don't know, he's a little skinny dude. I'm messing with him. He's a cool guy. I like Where's Waldo. I love that book. And I found him already. Look at him. Anyway.
Oh my god.
And of course. And then the second story was, of course, damn, I forgot already. I'm losing my mind. I'm drinking so much.
Is there all of the above? Is there an option D?
Oh, no, there's not.
Because they all sound. I'm gonna go with D.
Yeah, so one of them is true.
One of them is true.
Yeah. So Tyson not getting back to America for a day and then getting beat up by 4 big old chola chicks.
So I got to tell you which one's true.
You gotta switch that with me.
Okay.
I think the girl story.
I think
a little bit of that.
I'm tempted to believe that getting beat up by a bunch of girls and then your dad whooping your ass made you a fighter. Give you balls enough to go fight Mike Tyson. So I'm gonna say the first 2 are BS.
Okay.
I might have to go with the girls jumping you. I might have to go with that.
That's sad. Y'all have that. I was a tall kid.
You learn from it. I mean, obviously, if you want to fight Mike Tyson, you got to have some skill.
Because if you fought
You seem
back
very
and you
highly
punched
motivated
the girl
after
in the
that.
face, you would have left that story out if you had hit them back.
No, I
right?
was
Like, you were
told
defending yourself, right?
told as a kid never to hit a girl regardless. My mom would have beat my ass.
So you're gonna get beat up no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
I think number one's right. I think Joey dumbass made a TikTok video and said to Mike Tyson.
But why would you
Imagine.
do that if it wasn't on social? Because that's like.
Watch. In a couple of days, you're gonna see this TikTok of him dancing, calling out Mike Tyson.
With his Tic Tac out.
I don't have a tic tac. Dude, I got she works with horses. She knows how they look. That's Wilbur.
what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Zip.
Pushing your belly button to make it pop out.
Well, now you got to because I'm fat now. You got to like, boop, and it comes out. And right now it's like I'm so fat, it's like a turtle right now. You know, fat people, they have this thing called a fat pouch down there. And so, yeah, it's a
Real
fupa.
bro science.
And so now it's like it keeps warm every night. So as soon as you push the belly and it,
Yeah. Some say that it's as dangerous as a snapping turtle, just kind of in there, just what?
Makes it.
well, if you touch it, it might spit at you. So watch out. Anyway, this was Joey the Bull and No Bull. We'll get back in the segment. I will see you next week with correct answers. So happy Cinco de Mayo. Let's drink it up, baby.
You're a sick person. He's hung like a horse, I guess. I never seen it. I looked. I tried to peek. I'm a peeker.
Yeah, you are.
I know. There it is. Check out those shirts. Dondo Land. I like that one.
Dondo Land.
The happiest dojo on earth.
Oh, I like that.
I know. Nice shirts,
Is that
Robert.
like an Asian house?
It is the Asian house. We can't do Disneyland. We get,
Oh.
all kind of lawsuits and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
that script doesn't look like it.
But I mean, you chose that.
Well, there's the Clippers. Show them the Clippers
You
one.
chose that house?
No, Robert chose it.
Okay.
That's like the.
Hey, Robert's Japanese. Come on.
Well, he did it well.
I like the Motley Crue one, too.
I like the gym crashes.
Look at that Motley Crue one on the right, right?
Oh yeah.
And folks, I am still looking for my logo. So if you
There
want
it
a
is.
Joey the Bull shirt, it's going to be up there soon.
Yep, it's coming.
Be the best seller.
But you got to make a shirt that hasn't, been done. Do it right.
I know because the images I use.
Put a big old bull on him, too, with horns. right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Anyway, let's get back to our guest.
Oh yeah.
Poor
we're
guy needs some
back.
therapy now.
Well,
what the
it's-
hell did you put me through?
It's a rough one to sit through a bull or no bull because he's got some stories, dude. He's lived. I'm telling you.
I can see that.
And
I'm curious to find out which one is, or which two are bull.
we're gonna have to call you and tell you because
Well,
Joey's.
He said I was gonna find out tonight.
Oh, he'll tell you then. Okay, he's special.
Yeah, because he'll beat my ass. He's Krav Maga.
I don't know about that.
That's right.
I mean, that's the power of just.
He'll take the hair dye right out of your hair.
Hey, my hair's natural, okay?
Yeah,
Just the lighting made it dark today.
a little shoe polish.
Cheaper.
It's sheeper. It's sheeper, Yoey.
Okay.
It's all good.
It's all love.
It's all love. Anyways, yes. Getting back to Jay Salazar, we do have him here. I'm so glad to pin him down finally. I haven't actually had a conversation with him in probably a year or so.
Yeah,
So,
it's been a while.
It's been a minute. Yeah, good to see you. So, when did the brown belt actually take place? Was it back in January? Do I remember that right?
Yeah, it was January.
Okay.
Yeah, early January. Yeah.
So that's a pretty momentous thing. So, in Krav, is it a ceremonial kind of thing, or is it just between you and your instructor?
No, he usually waits after a class, and then after he's done, we're all lined up and he's talking, and then someone will walk out with a belt and a little certificate, and then he'll do a little spiel, and you go up, takes your belt off,
Go up
puts
and
the new one
cry.
on. No, it's good. It's a good feeling. You always. When you get it, you want to make sure that you got it.
Yeah.
You don't want to get anything that you haven't put the time in. Because
That's honorable.
Yeah. You just want to be able to handle your business when you have to handle your business. That's why we show up there. But it's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's
something
cool.
it's something to work towards, something to have. I like to have my little goals out there.
Mm-hmm.
Got to reach them. I still gonna get back into jiu-jitsu as soon as this opens back up. I take a little break there for a while.
Everybody, whole world.
Yeah.
Unless you come to an underground place with a name not on the wall and want to take part in something that's not really happening right now. Not where we're filming. Not in Orange County.
There's no one training down there. I know why I'm up here.
Those noises are not the sounds of training.
That's me walking.
That's right.
Walking around.
That's thunder. Thunder down under.
It's all in bathroom breaks.
Oh! You made a good friend with Adam. They've known each other for 2 days.
We're like Robin Big over here.
These two guys. Adam's a friend of Francesca's, but him and Joey hit it off.
Where do you train at?
Subfighter MMA.
Subfighter MMA Laguna Hills,
Laguna Hills.
with Adam Lynn, who is not to be messed with. Yeah. Just a great dude. He's a Marine.
Nice.
Been in the MMA game for as long as I can remember. A part of Apex when I lived in Laguna Niguel. Apex was the spot to train. That was the only spot to train. Jeremy Williams started that dojo. Jeremy Williams, a UFC fighter.
So how do you mind me if I can ask you a
Hit
question?
it.
So how does the school work for you? Like when you show up, what do you guys do? Do you like here's a 1-2 combination, you practice it?
No,
then...
he has basically the way he has his classes set up is he'll have an hour-long beginner class, and depending on the day it'll be beginner grappling or beginner striking and stuff, and it's just kind of you can kind of see with the style he doesn't teach I believe the beginner training classes. It was mostly he has Jeff come in, but he'll kind of teach you the basics. Obviously, they just ask you I remember my first day, they asked me, they're like, "Hey, have you done anything before?" And I said, "Oh, I boxed a little bit when I was younger." And they're just like, "Oh, let's just go over the basics." So they'll just teach you straight off the bat how to throw a 1-2, and then then you're gonna learn a low kick. But a majority of when you show up and stuff at your first start, they just really want you to get down the fundamentals, and then they start throwing you into more a lot of drilling, and then a lot of live drilling, and then you kind of just build everything up.
Okay. Was there a I'm always interested when I see people who are new to Krav Maga. I always tend to kind of ask them, was there an incident that got you finally to come through the doors? Because it takes a lot to get through the doors.
Yeah,
And stay in the
course.
doors.
And stay there.
And to stay.
To
Usually,
get people to stay is another thing.
yeah. Because was there any incident?
For me, I was just kind of going through a lot in my personal life at the time.
Okay.
To where I just different things, and I needed an outlet to kind of get all this kind of anger and emotion, and just being a younger
You
guy.
can come out here, man. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm messing with you.
Come here, Milwaukee.
We love you anyways, buddy. It's all good. We love you just the way you are, Adam.
Ah, that's great, man. You found an outlet then.
No, yeah, basically. And then obviously being younger, I'd like boxed and did a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but you're like 7, 8 years old. You're not really paying attention to what you're being told. You're like, oh man, I just want to get to the dodgeball part where we're all hitting each other with yoga balls.
Right.
Oh.
So there wasn't really like an incident where like
There was no. I've always been like a bigger guy, or not bigger, but like taller guy.
Gotcha.
And so like always kind of like, especially being like where I went to school and everything, guys like trying to push and test your ego all the time. Because everybody else is always insecure at that age, obviously.
Nipple pinchers.
Yeah, nipple pinchers,
Twisters.
Ball flickers,
Whoa, yeah. Well, hey, that's the party I belong to.
Your tongue.
Yes. Give Robert the camera or the microphone.
I went to a wedding with him, right? And his family was there, his dad, his grandpa.
This is recent.
I walked by,
Give us some context.
and his
okay?
grandpa whacks his dad in the nuts. And
Fucking put him out. Put him out.
Tries to whack the grandpa in the nuts. I'm like, what is going on here? These guys are,
They're kind of
A
ruthless.
little older.
It's a little ruthless when we're around each other. Yes, the nuts are not sacred in our house.
I guess to give them a little more interesting, because this actually just did came into my head, because this was another reason I wanted to like kind of start training was I remember I always had this. I'm not really friends with this guy anymore, but he always kind of was one of these guys that's very big into like guns rights and self-defense and getting weapons for self-defense. Sorry about that.
Oh, your phone's just on. It's okay. No, I'm messing with you.
Grinders.
Let me tell you this.
It's the sweetest sound too.
Yes, of course.
Basic
man,
like
this is
stock
so
ringtone,
relaxing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, dude.
I trained with Adam
Keep
Lynn,
triangle.
his trainer, and to tell you the truth, it's very positional. This is how I found it. Adam would train you not only how to take an arm from a mount, but where the strikes are. So positionally, how to take someone out, striking, submission, change position, stay dominant, stay heavy, and very heavy top position. Not really a
lot of
guard
wrestling.
game.
Like
Yeah,
if you come to
exactly.
sub fighter, like you're gonna learn how to throw a takedown. You're
Yes.
gonna learn how to like just that mentality of like grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he kind of like that's what I liked about it, because he takes kind of that same like military mentality of like
Absolutely.
shut up and just do the work, and and just come in with your hard hat, and that's why I like appealed to me. And to kind of get back to what I was saying, like I always had a friend, he was a smaller guy, skinnier guy like I was, and one of the things I could kind of tell was like he almost had this like insecurity over defending himself, and so he would always say like, oh man, I remember he bought this like $160 like self-defense knife, right? And I always like one time, yeah, he spent a way like he also was the type of guy that spent way too much money.
Remember,
on
this is in
items,
Laguna
like-
Hills where people do that kind of thing.
Yeah, this
The
was
rest of us
Aliso
are carving out of
Viejo.
wood. Look at my knife.
Save up for that.
He's going to his accounting classes, just be like, I'm gonna get my knife one day. Like, so I asked him when he had gotten his knife, he's all brandishing it, he was all proud of it, because we're coming home from this little snowboarding trip, and me, like, I had just kind of started like watching like MMA again and getting more into martial arts, and then I asked him one day, like, we were just having this conversation about self-defense. I'm like, well, don't you think like you wanted, like, wouldn't it be better to know what's like what to do in like a situation and like what's going on and all that, like, and then I got to basically the question. I'm like, he's like, oh no, like most people freak out, blah blah blah, giving me kind of bullshit excuses, not
What
really
he read
answers.
in a book.
Yeah, right.
What I saw on YouTube.
Yeah, something he saw, and then I asked him, I was like, well, what if somebody just like knocks the knife out of your hand? What are you gonna do then? And then he just followed it up with a 20-second awkward silence, followed by I don't know. And I was just like,
Not
yeah,
good
man,
enough.
I think you gotta train to like be good at stuff, like.
I think it's a good fallback.
Yeah,
to
and
have.
then, like I noticed as I started to train and stuff, and like obviously with like going back to what he said with Adam, like he teaches you positions and strikes, like, and he'll sometimes say straight up in a jiu-jitsu class, hey, if you're on the streets and you're in this situation where somebody's got you tangled up, like forget all your rules of jiu-jitsu, like posture up and throw an elbow down at the
Yeah.
guy,
Finish
He
him.
gives
Finish
you a
him.
lot of relevancy. I mean, I've sat in on a lot of his. I've taken like kickboxing one, but I mean, I sat in on a lot of his stuff, and especially with like the grappling stuff. He gives you not just like the scenario in the sport of MMA or the sport of jiu-jitsu. Like he'll show you exactly like
It's tactical.
Okay, this can happen or this can happen if you're in the streets or you're he
A
always
real life
gives
situation,
relevancy,
like-
even if it's all people that compete. like he still gives relevancy.
And what's interesting is
gotta be
like he
practical.
doesn't like
Yeah.
he doesn't like it's almost like ingrained into his training. Like the other day we were just having like a conversation about jiu-jitsu, just watching like some guys roll and all that, and like one of the things we saw when he took the back, I was just like, I asked him about a question about taking the back, and he just sneaks in there. Yeah, but also if you're in a switch situation, you know, you're just gonna elbow him right to the back of the head and just get him right out of there. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I was talking about competition, but yeah, coach, you know, you're right. If I am in the streets and somebody I have their back, I can just.
It's truth. There's truth in that. And that if you're training for MMA, of course, they're not training you to hit in the back of the head when you take the back. But, you know, they're pretty exposed.
But in case, you
right?
know, it's always what if. Like, and one of the things that he says that I really like about his gym is like, it's almost like you see in society we're not very embracing of like these normal like kind of alpha male activities like fighting and all that. You know, you're not like, I'm sure, you know, if you see another guy who trains, you're like, oh, you talk about it, but you talk to most people and they kind of look at you like, what? Why would you want to get hit in the face? Like, that doesn't sound fun at all.
Because I'm Nacho Libre.
It makes me feel alive.
there is a different type of breed that kind of gets into this.
Yeah.
But there are people that do it. They're just, I mean, they're disciplined, they're professional, and they want to be able to protect themselves. And they come in, it's like a business, and they're the most docile people that you would talk to. But when you get on the mat, you know, they learn to flip that switch and they'll handle their business.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I go back to kind of my second point I was making of like with this friend that I also kind of noticed through training and all that is like I noticed as I kept training more, you notice as a young guy there's always this like male insecurity, especially nowadays, just with all these young guys and stuff, and like constantly being on the phone and image like.
I have no idea about any of that. This is new to me, so keep it coming.
Well, I think it's being, how old are you? 20, yeah, that's being
It's
20.
new, yeah.
Ever being 20?
Yeah.
Well, I do, but I have a phone. I can barely afford to pay the phone bill, you know.
Well, be my son. Come on, someone wants to my lap, son. Come here.
Yes, I remember. When I was 20, Jay was coming home from Searcy, Arkansas, and we met in the doorway, yes. Around that age. Yes.
Got a lot
but it was a different world.
Yeah.
But I feel
But good story, man.
there's less there's less
like,
consequences,
insecurity, you know?
though.
Yeah.
When you train more and you're more prepared for a situation, you're not like super worried about like, oh, what if, and I don't know what's gonna happen. You're like, oh, I've trained. I don't need to like be this almost like this peacocking. Like, you don't mess with me. Don't mess with me.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that should come with your training.
Yeah.
Confidence should come with it, and it has to come with it. For me, I'm just too tired the next day. I'm like not looking for any.
It is nice to be able to walk the next day.
Well, a lot
Yeah.
of people don't get the chance to actually get in that type of conflict or be in the uncomfortable positions as someone that gets exposed to it like every day. Like, people don't know that you don't just run up to people and hit them and they drop. Like, what if they don't, you know, like, I don't know, going back to the thing where it's like, I don't know, for me, I don't enjoy watching two people that don't know how to fight each other.
Yeah.
They're so dangerous.
Yeah,
like,
when
and
we
they
go to
have no
amateur
technique,
MMA.
I'm like, this is trash.
Yeah.
But some amateurs are really good. It depends on the bodies.
You're
of
right.
and who
Amateur
they're training
MMA
with.
shows that we go to, sometimes it's trash. We're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, where
But
you're like, okay, we
sometimes-
just pulled him off the, you know,
Yeah.
and it's so dangerous. Like, I don't know.
Getting thrown in way too soon.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah,
part of
but
it.
boys, I don't know. I feel like especially now we don't have that like immediate consequence, right? We got people talking shit online, all that stuff, but like they never get a chance to test it. So it's like, especially as you were talking about as a male, where you're constantly getting tested. You know, we were talking about something too with like the body language and some stance that you were taking like in your communication class, and
Power posing.
like you can. I feel like what martial arts does is like it's an ultimate understanding of human beings without any verbal anything, because like you said, like you don't even have to use it most of the time. You can tell by someone's body language, even if they talk another language. You could be surrounded by people that have no idea. Like when I was in Holland, I have no idea what they're talking about, but I still know when they're making jokes, what they're saying. Like I know what they're saying. Like I can still laugh at the punch. Like I know what they're saying, but it's the body language, it's everything that goes into it is so important on how to read that.
You can tell how someone
rarely
carries
see
himself.
that. Exactly. You rarely see people that fight get in fights. Like
That's true, because when I was working for Rodman for so many years, never once in my life I put on everything, never had to lay my hands on anybody, and I never had to get crazy, never talk that big talk. I was the way I'm talking to you now, very cool and calm, and people look at me like cussing me out, calling me all these names. I'm like, are you done? Like, I know you want an autograph, but dude, just walk away.
Yeah.
Or if not, I want an 86. You come tomorrow. And people would look at me like, you're not threatening me? You're not going to kick my ass? I go, no. Why should I? Just have a good day. Maybe I'll buy you a
You
drink
can
tomorrow.
talk to them.
You're done.
There's a lot of respect. I saw a guy neutralize the situation, and he could handle himself. I thought this other guy's gonna get hurt really bad, and the guy was being really rude and all that, and he neutralized it in such a way that when I walked away from that incident, I said, "That's real power.
Yeah.
That's real power right there." That guy had. I go, I want to be like that. I'm sure he could handle himself, but you want to be that too in case this guy.
It's true. And
It's a last resort kind of thing.
Exactly.
But if you handle it that way, I think that carries a lot of. You can get a lot of respect that way in terms of something worthy to imitate.
Yeah.
Younger guys, just to say, I'll let it slide. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's 20. I know exactly what you're talking about. What was you looking at me like that for? It's like, oh boy.
I wonder if people take it differently though, because you bring it up as if you're being tested. But is it just the daily grind that we give each other? Because we grind the shit out of each other, men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that also part of the test, or is it just how we act?
What is it? Is it the Fight Club that says everyone should get in a fight one time?
Yes.
I mean, you don't really know who you are until you get punched.
Yes.
You know, there's that real sense that
Sure.
we like to go. Well, I like to face. If I'm afraid of something, I like to deal with it, face it. No one wants to get in a fist fight. It's a nerve-wracking situation when it starts to escalate.
Fighting with emotions is always a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree. But you get to learn how to control that, and that's what Krav. And I'm sure MMA too. You have to learn to control that, and that gives you a sense of confidence. Is it 100% insurance? Absolutely not.
No.
If someone's gonna come up to you and shoot you, they're gonna shoot you.
Sure.
Of course.
You can be the master at disarming, but if they come up to you shoot you, you're dead.
Everybody's
if they
got a
come up with a big
striker's
katana
chance.
sword.
Oh,
I'm looking for other things now.
Yeah.
I'm looking for tables. I'm looking for
Chair or something.
my belt if I have to. I'll take my shirt off, anything, because I think it's coming down.
Chance. At
Yes.
least you have a chance. Something that you've been exposed to gives you a chance in that type of situation, because you really don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I mean, I keep that in mind.
Well, some
when I'm
people
going to amateur
freeze.
shows.
Some people
yeah,
freeze.
or
Yeah.
they don't move. You're like, and then people are like, oh, I would do this. I'm like, you don't know what you would do, even if
Right.
you were trained. You don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't
The
know.
whole point
And-
of training.
And it's true, because when I used to train a bunch of young guys, probably like 15 to 20, these kids were very young. A lot of them were into the gangs, a lot of them were into the drugs and all that stuff. And but training all these kids, you had to teach them reality. And a lot of these kids were a lot of gangbangers, and you got to show them tough love and show them like, dude, just because you're badass in the streets, we're gonna show you see how badass you're here in the mat or here in the ring. And we used to train them honestly to these kids. To the point their levels changed to the point where we did tournaments, and a lot of these kids, they eventually start getting good grades. A lot of them get scholarships for wrestling in high school, and a lot of them went to the military. And it was just, I felt good as a trainer, as a coach, helping these kids out that didn't have shit for them. They had no backup.
That's awesome.
They had no families because both mom and dad were working, and they'll come home and cause trouble. Where we were kind of like the daycare for these kids. Even though we didn't accept money, we did it for free. We did it for the love. As long as the kids took care of the gym that the lady owned, cleaned it up, and set up.
is that South Coast gym on Bolsa Chica? Did you tell me that once?
No, South Coast Kickboxing in Costa Mesa.
Oh, okay. Because there was a gym on Bolsa Chica and Rancho Road.
Yeah, no, and we trained these kids for I don't know how many years. And a lot of these kids, honestly, they are great. A lot of them are wrestling coaches for universities, colleges. Some are in the military. Some have family now, and it shocks the shit out of me when like I said, I mention the story all the time. When I'm walking down the street or walking somewhere, I hear Coach, and I'm like, oh shit, what's up, dude? And they're family and.
You're
great
such a
jobs.
loving guy, Joe. I love that about you. You got a question, Robert?
I wonder if you trained Alex Gilbert.
Oh, probably. Yeah, we know a guy that trained with you.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Who is it with the name?
Alex Gilbert. I don't know if you ever met him.
Did
He's
you go to Santa Ana High School?
he may have. I don't know. Yeah, I
a lot
think
of
he
these
did.
kids, a lot of these
Fountain
kids,
Valley.
He did go to
a lot
Fountain
of these
Valley?
kids were Santa Ana, Costa Mesa, Fountain Valley, and a lot of these kids. This was probably back in I would say 2000 and whatever to 2000 and I think
It's 2,000 pounds ago.
2000. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of these kids, man, I'm telling you, a lot of great kids right there, and it's awesome.
Poor Francesca's like, I don't want to hear this shit. What did I walk into?
But that's for a different segment. I mean, if you look at some of our old videos that I was on their show.
Yeah, we want to see
a
your
long time
videos,
ago.
but not that one video. No.
No. But telling that story, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of, like I said, we were the bad news bears of MMA. We didn't have the sponsors.
Was there an MMA at that time?
No, but we were the bad news bears of like jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And no gi. So all of our kids came in their own basketball shorts, no, whatever T-shirts they have, or the schools we went against were Gracie's. They had all the same uniforms or all the same gym bags, but we always placed second and third place by beating like 90s classes out there, and it was awesome. That was
It's
to
heavy,
me, it
Joe.
felt good.
That's
That's
awesome.
heavy,
Man,
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
let the kids get their wiggles out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
These kids are badass, and I have even to this day. I mean, I have so much love, and when I see them pop up and it's his birthday, I say, "Hey, yo, happy birthday!" And they say, "Thank Coach," and then it still means a lot to me when they call me Coach. Still, I mean, to me, it's
I'm sure.
It's fucking awesome, dude. You know, they
Joey,
still
man,
their coach.
you're full of love.
That's cool.
Joey's a very emotional guy.
No.
He is. You wear that all on your sleeve. I like that shit.
Yeah.
You're covering up your sleeves today. I can't even make fun of him.
I love my tattoos.
I know you are. I'm your tattoo baby.
Yeah,
We made Adam blush.
Jesus.
It's all good, brother.
I gotta give him a hug later, man. This poor
He's
kid.
all yours, man. That's why we brought him.
He's still sitting on my lap right now. He's like,
We're gonna check those fighting skills, Adam.
I know.
You gotta fight off a bear.
We'll leave. We'll turn the camera and we'll get out of here.
Oh, hey.
Anyway,
We'll
so-
leave Robert here.
So let's. Where can they find you on all your social medias if people want to look out for you?
Well, first and foremost,
Oh, sorry.
he trains at 360 Krav
There you
Maga in Long Beach, Signal Hill.
Long Beach. It's Signal Hill, Long Beach. We're in the middle of a transition right now, but it's in Signal Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, 360 Krav Maga Academy with Alan Predolin.
And that's on 7th?
It's on Orange and Hill.
Oh, Hill. Okay.
Yeah, it's closed right now, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's looking to get a new location like real soon here. He's in the middle of doing it right now.
Yeah.
Now we've been at this one for I started in 2012. Yeah, 2012.
I saw one on Willow
That was the one at
going
first.
towards
Yes.
the 710 by the cemetery.
Yeah, it's right off Will. It's the 10 Mile Brewery now.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but that was a dope little location.
Actually, I
for him.
went there because I was driving, and I was thinking after I told you about the human weapon, I was like, God,
That's what Joey calls his thing, the human weapon.
I'm all, where's the Krav Maga studio? And I was like, I was trying to look it up, and then I was driving in Long Beach, and I just looked over and I go, you've got to be kidding me.
It's huge.
So the next day I came over, and it said we moved.
Yeah.
So I drove over there and signed up. Had to do it. Had to get involved.
Right on. So that's 360 Krav Maga on Instagram and then your Instagram is Logos One.
Yeah, I think so.
What?
It is Logos One.
Yeah.
The word, man, Logos.
Yeah.
That's
Not Legos.
Yeah. It's so funny because people are like, logos. Do you own like a logo company? I'm like, no, I don't want to get into it.
Is that a biker gang?
I didn't
have
even
to-
touch this.
I have to explain what logos, the Greek logos.
It's a whole other hour. Like we're just touching.
I
We
know.
should have asked this question to begin with and then let him roll.
Like any
Yeah.
English class ever?
What's that?
Have they not been in any English class ever?
People don't pay attention. People don't
Yeah,
read.
people
People
don't.
don't.
They don't.
People see signs and just go right past them.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Facts.
And
Francesca,
where can they
Dominique.
find you in social
You
medias?
can find me on Instagram at Francesca_Dominique, and then I also have my own personal channel. It's called the Blunt Review, and then I
That's
co-host
right.
Fight Life Connoisseurs as well.
Yes.
So you can find all of those. I'm sorry I gave you a lot, but you can find all
No,
of those.
no, that's legit. So
You say a blunt review?
The Blunt Review.
Oh, really?
Yes. All the smoking.
Joey's gonna be all over that.
Hey, I know. Hey.
Hey.
And then where can they find you? Adam, right? Adam, where can they find you?
On Instagram, just at adam.araby. Just
Arby's, Arbidar.
We're pirates now? Is that right?
Yes,
Butt pirate.
it's a butt pirate. Look up the Panda at Free Admission Media. Subfighter, MMA, Laguna Hills.
MMA, and then also just watch Fight Life Connoisseurs. I edit and talk behind the camera
Yeah.
there too.
Shout out to Free Love, right?
Shout out to Free Love.
Everybody shout out Free Love. We love Free Love. Get him in here sometime.
Yes.
Right?
Where can they find you, Don Doe?
Find me right here, Delo Jiu-Jitsu. Anytime you want to come here, we're with John Della O. But Gym Crashers, so I'm Dondo the Gym Crasher on Instagram, John Dondo on Facebook. I don't really touch Facebook. Robert made me make a Facebook for business purposes, but I use it occasionally. I'm learning. I don't know how to use it, but I try.
And you can
I
find
don't do the TikTok. It's okay. You do the TikTok.
TikTok.
He shows his TikTok on TikTok.
And you can find me, Joey the Bull, on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, Grinder.
I would say we'll be at the next event. We always see Francesca at events.
Oh, yeah.
But there's really nothing lined up just yet.
Sucks.
UFC this weekend, make sure you watch. We didn't really touch base with that. I wanted to. Next time, we'll have more to talk about. Bellator in July. Paramount Studios, we're looking at that. Hopefully we can get out to that. What else?
Just one shout out to Carla Esparza.
Shout out to Carla. She's the Cookie Monster. Fighting this weekend. We sponsor her with Our Life CBD. We love everything she does. She's a fun person to party with. I'll leave it at
It's going to
that.
be a good fight.
Awesome.
Right?
Awesome.
It's gonna be a good
Yep.
fight.
All right, once again, folks, happy Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully, you guys are drinking safe at home. If not, if you're drinking somewhere, let me know so I can come hang out
Hit it.
after this segment. Taco Tuesday. This is Joey the Bull signing out. See you next week.